Okay, we made it to episode 102 of the Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Lumina Acres, Ben from Holler Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And if you're just joining us today, I think we've got some new subscribers to our YouTube channel and probably our podcasts on iTunes and Spotify this week. It's just, we just talk about our week, our week prior usually, and just hanging out in the shop. And from time to time, we do have guests on. So that was last week, but this week we're back to our regular scheduled program. Is it snowing over there now?
No, but the low tonight is 39.
What?
Yep. Over, was it Sunday morning? We took out our winter coats and had our winter hats back on. It was like 42, I think.
You didn't put
And
them
I
in the garage yet, did you?
no, it was like high of like 50 for the day and just windy.
Wow. So it's
Yeah.
frosty.
Man,
Not frosty, but it was
Okay.
pretty close. It was pretty close.
That's crazy.
Yep.
when was that? Like, what day of the week was that?
That was
Recently?
that was Sunday, yes. So
Sunday.
yesterday.
We've had beautiful weather down here. I wondered if that was towards the beginning of this past week because we had rain for like 3 days, and I wondered if you guys were freezing up there.
So we had rain Saturday all day. We got like an inch of rain. And then on Sunday, it wasn't, I think it's rained a little bit on and off, but not bad. But yeah, it didn't break like 50 degrees and it was 42, I think, in the morning when we got up. And then it says
Well,
tonight's
Nipply.
was 39 for a low.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's normally not like this. I don't know what's going on this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been really nice here. I can't complain.
wearing your shorts and your t-shirts and sweating.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been like, I wouldn't say it's scorching. Would you, Ben?
Nah, it's
I mean,
no, it's been in the 80s,
it's like
like low
spring.
80s. Yeah, it's like the end of spring, how it should be. I did see it's gonna be like 89 on what was that like Thursday or Friday this week. I'm not looking forward to that, but I mean, we're in June now, so I guess it's time for the hot weather.
What's your dry month normally
It's
for the
usually
summer?
June.
June. Okay. So that's when you're hoping to start doing some building stuff.
That's when I'm planning on re-roofing this whole thing and putting on the new roof. So I'm banking on the fact that it's gonna be like June the entire time we've been here is always dry. And it's like, okay, I'm planning for this. Like I'm gonna put the roof on, and I've looked at the forecast and it's like there's rain within the next 2 weeks. Like it better not.
That's right.
We've seen the rendering drawings of the house all done. I'm looking to see the roof on that. It's gonna look sharp.
Yeah.
I hope so. I
It's a
hope I
nice
can.
design.
I hope it doesn't look so, because the tall side, the deck is 6 feet off the ground. So, once all of that's sited and, everything, it's going to be pretty high off the ground. The
Yeah,
roof line's going to be, that's six plus another eight. Like that's way up there. But what are you going to do when you live on the side of a mountain?
right.
Why don't you go ahead, Ben? Talk about your week.
Oh, it's going to be brief. It was kind of a screwy week last week. We got back from our event, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday it rained like all day, all 3 days. I think Wednesday we were able to get out and shoot a video, and or maybe that was Thursday. It was Wednesday or Thursday we did that, and it was just stuff that we had needed to do. We weighed all of our meat birds because technically they were at the 8 week mark on Friday. And it was like, well, they look a little bit small. So we got the scale out and weighed them, and they're all too small still. So gonna go another couple weeks. It's fine. We actually ordered way too much feed, and then we've lost about 10 of them. So that feed is going even farther now. So we'll have extra feed by the time all these guys go in the freezer, and I'll either use that as, I'll feed that to the chickens or the pigs or both. So
Yeah.
it's not really a bummer. We'll use it. Uh, we also usually we call it meat check Mondays. We'll grab all of our curing meats out of the fridge or if they're hanging or whatever, and we'll get out the scales and we just like weigh them and check where they're at. Well, we've actually done a really horrible job of that in the past couple months. Sorry. Um, and I'm curing all of our copas and lonzas and pancettas in the fridge. I wanted to try it because I'm tired of losing stuff to flies. Like that is the hardest thing is dealing with these warmer temperatures and your meat's not quite dry enough yet, and we're hanging in the kitchen. So flies do get in here, and if that meat is not dry enough yet, they go straight to it. So we were tired of that. So we just parked all of our cured meat in the barn fridge just to keep it safe. Well, it worked really well. So we pulled all of our copas and lonzas, everything that was hanging up in the fridge. We weighed all of it, and all of the smaller stuff was ready. So it all cured in 2 months, something like that. Uh, Everything was at the target weight. So we started cutting into some of it. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's so good. So I think we had four copas ready and two lonzas ready, or maybe it was one lonza. Uh, but what we like doing with those is we like putting those on pizza. And so one of the ones I did this year, I just kind of came up with my own recipe because I really want, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but trying to eat as clean as possible, doing things like making your own pizza, what do you do about pepperoni? Like, good luck finding organic pepperoni that's actually tasty that you can afford to feed a big family like ours. So, we found about the only thing that's somewhat clean is boar's head. They sell it at the grocery store. You can buy the entire like pepperoni stick and then just run it over your meat slicer, put that on your pizza. But I don't know if you two have experienced this. When you buy pork products from, they're just generic pork products. They're not pastured. They're not, they're just clean ingredients, no nitrates and stuff like that, but it's still generic pork. You cut into it and you start eating it, and all you can smell is pig manure. I don't know if you guys have encountered that. Uh,
I don't think so. Well, I'm trying to think of it. I'm not even sure if I had any pork that we bought at the store lately. So I don't know.
that's pretty much the only product outside of what we make that we've eaten since we've been raising our own meat.
Yeah.
And every time, like it's getting worse, like bit by bit. The farther away we get from the processed stuff, I think the last time we bought that stuff was probably 6 or 8 months ago. And I sliced it up and like I'm slicing it and I'm like, I can't eat this. I can smell pig pen. Like this stinks. And every single one of the kids came in one by one and they're like, what's that smell? Does someone have pig poop on their feet or something? And every single one of them was able to pick it up and detect it. And they're like, I'm not eating this. And it's just it's that way with all pork products. I remember the last time I bought ribs from the grocery store. This is back in California. I opened up this pack of ribs and it smelled like pig manure. And it was just like, I
Ooh.
can't do this anymore. So yeah, so all of our cured meats are coming of age, and I wanted something to replace this pepperoni because we haven't really been eating pizza because we've been out of copas. So I put a whole bunch of really spicy pepper on one of them, just trying. You know those bird's eye chilies, Jason? The little
Oh
chili
yeah. Little
chili.
pellets.
Yeah, little
Yeah.
firecrackers. I all of them that I grew last year, I saved a bunch of them, dried them, and then ground them into powder. And
Ooh.
I just call it happy berry dust. And so if you want to happy something up, you just put a little sprinkling of happy berry dust on it, and it's good for what ails you. Well, uh, I uh, I made one of these copas with happy berry dust as part of the seasoning. It's garlic and some herbs and stuff like that. I think it had cayenne, black pepper, and then happy berry dust. That's what I call them. Yeah, it was spicy. It was quite spicy, but something about the curing process, it mellows out a whole bunch. And so I ran that stuff over the slicer and we made pizza, and just eating just the slices of it, it's like it's got some spice to it, some heat, but it's not anything like Buggy can come get this stuff and eat it. And she's like, "Ooh, it's a little spicy." So it's not that spicy.
That's
Well,
good.
you when you bake it on a pizza, it gets spicy again. So I'm sitting there eating my pizza and it's like, whoo, it's got some heat to it.
Wow.
Way better than a hot pepperoni
I bet.
chorizo. Oh, it's bomb. So I'm saving that name tag off that Copa because it's got how much of every single ingredient. I will be doing that on quite a few of them next year, or I guess this coming fall. I'm stoked.
It's amazing, man. Like you start doing that kind of stuff, and it's like, man, you can never go get pizza anywhere now. You can't-
Man, we
Like it's so
haven't
hard.
like we can't go out and eat. Well, we don't eat out. That's
Yeah.
been something that's weird is like the more we have done this, we don't eat out anymore. Or if we do, you know, you pay for it for the next 4 days with your stomach's all upset.
Yep.
I remember the last time, it was one of the last times we went and got pizza. I felt like I carried that pizza around in my stomach for like 4 days, and it was just like it's not moving. Like this is terrible.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that
That's cool.
that's about it. It was kind of a short week with all the rain, but
Yeah.
I will say this week's kind of fun. I won't spoil next week's episode, but there's like no rain in the forecast this week. Uh, Everybody around us has been waiting to cut hay. We have been waiting to cut hay. Me and the boys are all going to cut hay by hand this year. And there has not been a span of like 3 days without rain
Yep.
in like 2 months. And so we could have cut hay before everybody else because our hay, like, it's just done really good. Well, we haven't had a chance because, if you cut it and then it gets rained on, it's pretty much ruined. It washes so much of the nutrition out of it. And it's not a big deal. It's not like we're feeding it to a cow or horses or anything like that. We just want to do it and we want to make good hay. The stuff we made last year, you can still peel back the stuff that is on the top, and there's still green clover and, you know, you can find clover flowers in our hay. Like it is beautiful hay. It still smells delicious. So, we're waiting to do that again. And finally we get to. We're going to do it tomorrow morning. But I swear everybody and their mom is cutting hay today. Our neighbors are cutting hay. My neighbor up the street, I see him driving up and down the street with his tractor. He's cutting his father-in-law's hay. He's cutting his hay. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They're
have,
getting
have
after it.
you got to cut hay when the sun's shining, right?
Yep.
Yep. That's
Cool.
about it. How about you, Jason? What'd you get into this week?
Yeah, we got let's see, a bunch of little things. Um, Speaking of cutting hay, so for an early Father's Day gift, the girls got me a scythe. And so every day I've been practicing. I wouldn't see. When did I get it? I don't know. It's probably been like 4 days, 4 or 5 days maybe. And every day I've been out there practicing my technique and going down the rabbit hole of guys from like Norway on YouTube.
There's a couple of really, really professional
Yeah,
scythe guys from the far north.
yeah, they have an accent and they're like, okay, these guys, they sound like they know what they're doing. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. Yeah, I'm just been practicing that in the evening and then in the morning. Uh, so I can see where that can get really addicting.
It's extremely addicting.
Yeah.
Especially the sound.
Yeah, the sound too, that's like soothing. It's way nicer than a string trimmer or a mower or something, you know. You gotta wear headphones but yeah, it's pretty nice. And then I've been doing it really where I'm moving the pigs because the grass is like almost to my chest. And I've been knocking it down with that thing before I move them over. And because, if I use the mower, it like mows it too short. Um, and if the grass is too tall, the pigs can't even get it. So I've been kind of mowing that down a little bit shorter with that thing, and I think it's been helping. And then I notice the pigs are like, I'll leave it in a pile for them, and they'll just go straight to it and start eating it, which is pretty neat. So I don't know. I think I just need more practice, but so far so good. Things kind of fun. It's kind of
You want to come?
addicting.
You want to come over tomorrow morning with the sun, and cut hay with us?
Yeah, maybe.
It's gonna be dark and early.
Dark and early.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's so much grass around here that you get a ton of practice, right? So I built another chicken coop. I don't think I did. Well, we didn't talk about it last week, but I built a chicken coop for our egg layers, um, a movable coop, and I put some chick lift wheels on it, which these are newer chick lift wheels that pivot and they turn around. These things are like tanks. They're like monster wheels because it's like all metal construction. So, I mean, I don't know how much these things can hold, but I would bet hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Um, and I put these on this coupe, and it's meant to spin around in a circle,
That's cool.
so you don't have to pick it up at all. You just pop the two front wheels, and then pop the back wheel, and then just spin it, just push it around.
How many
Uh,
wheels? Is it four per chicken tractor or three?
there's three, two in the front, and then the wheel system in the back. Um, I mean, it works pretty good. I mean, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be pushing this thing up a hill, yeah, I'm probably going to be using the mini truck for that. Um,
Could you put it on your big one, the big metal one?
no, I should. I
I
should
wonder if you
actually.
could, like, because that the big because I get the same big metal one. That one's
Yeah.
nice, but you can only go like straight with it. So
Yes.
I wonder if you could put the wheels on that if it make it even more usable.
No, yeah, I've been actually thinking about that because I'm going to use that same structure for our turkeys. And I'm thinking before the turkeys come, I might just switch out the wheel system for that system
Yeah, I
on
might have
that.
to let me know how it is. I might have to order a set.
Yeah.
The one downfall with that coupe is it's not easily moved other than a straight line.
Right. And it has to be super flat.
It does.
Even like crabgrass, like little hilly grasses, patches of
Yep.
grass. I'm like,
It doesn't lift up very high in the back or
yeah.
in the front. Like you can have one side higher, but then the other side's like only like a couple of inches off the ground. So if you have a pothole, you kind of
Well, I feel
get
like too that maybe the wheels need to be pushed back more
yeah. So a pick
to
yeah, so you
lift
can
it
get
up.
more height adjustment for sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might switch them out. Uh, so yeah, so I made the egg layer coop and holds 25 chickens, and so far so good. And it's working good. Yeah, I'm glad I made it though. What else? So we had so six of our piglets that we had, they're 2 months old now, and three of them, a family came today and picked them up. So I sold all six of them, and one family came from Kentucky and picked them up to take them home, which was cool. That was a nice family that came, have never raised pigs before. So the perfect intro to pigs is a Cooney pig. So they bought a boar, so not a castrated male.
They're gonna
So
stop breeding.
yeah,
Nice.
I think probably yeah, yeah. Um, so then I have another family come in this week to pick up the rest, the three, and then we'll probably give Elvira maybe a little break there, and breed her again with Zeke, and then maybe have piglets before the end of the year, and then we'll probably sell some of those and keep some. So that was I mean, 2 months in the making there. Uh, what else? So I started a another rain collection on for our fruit trees. We have another barn. It's a smaller barn than our 90-foot barn,
The
and it's kind
barn
of
we never go.
I've showed it. I've shown it. Everyone's telling me where did that barn come from? I'm like, you're not paying attention.
I hide it on you. I only show it once a year.
Yeah, you need to go watch reruns or something.
I watch every episode.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before.
I've shown it, but so it's elevated from our fruit tree. So my plan is to save rain off of that, and then gravity feed some water down to our trees. On paper, it seems like it'll work, but we'll
That's a
see.
that's a great location to catch water because it's kind of up higher than everything else.
Yeah, it's up higher. It's a little ways. I mean, for the last tree it needs to hit, I don't know, I would say that's maybe 150 feet.
Yeah, but if you got the elevation, I think you'll have the pressure. If you keep the
Yeah.
tank high, I think you'll definitely have the pressure
I'm gonna
to
raise the
get it.
tank higher too, so a little bit higher. So it should be a little ways up there. If not, I thought of I what I would like to do would I just never had a reason to do it was have it put a pump on those things. Put like a see if I can make a solar pump and
Yep.
have it be automated where it just kind of turns on the water turns on and off, something like that. I think
Kind
that'd
of like
be
a camper. Like when you turn your faucet on,
Mhm.
it automatically kicks on.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool to just to make one because there's no electricity in that barn. So I can't plug anything in. So we'll see. I'm still working on that.
Can you
Um,
access the barn easy with like a vehicle or anything?
yep.
Yep.
I've been putting my mower in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of using it as like storage stuff.
Yep.
Just another barn to put stuff in. My general store is what I call it.
General store. That's your Lowe's.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's my loaf. Uh, so I finally got the hot sauce labels,
Sweet.
which I feel like I've been saying that for the last 2 months. Um, but I've been going back and forth with this printer, man. This printer was getting on my nerves. It just could not get it right. It just cannot make it clear. It just cannot, like, it was so off on certain things. And I'm like, I'm trying to, you know, I want to go local with this and I don't have to buy something on the internet, like labels and stuff. And it's just making me, I needed super patience with this printer. And finally they got it right. They finally got it. They did it. And I was able to get them. But yeah, it took some effort there. So hopefully by the time this podcast goes out, I'll have them on the website to purchase. Hopefully, I just got the labels, so I got to put them on the bottles and then take a picture and put them on the site.
A
Uh,
limited edition. Like if you want one, you better get on the website.
right, very limited.
Once they're sold, you got to wait till next year.
Yes, and I have a hot sauce for you, Al. I'm gonna send you one, and I got when I see you, I might see you this week, Ben. Uh, so
I'll
so you
try
guys
it.
could try it out.
That's actually perfect timing because we're running low on hot sauce. We didn't make hot sauce last year, and we're just like using up what Meg has canned over the past couple years. It, I mean, it's kind of nice. Like we're using up stuff that we didn't think was very good. And I found some, it was some Sugar Rush peach hot sauce we made. And I
Mm,
remember when we made it, it was like, oh, this isn't very hot. This isn't very good. And so we just stashed it. Well, now I'm out of hot sauce. So it's like, well, let's use this peach stuff. It's actually really good. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we need some hot sauce. We're eating up everything we got.
Sometimes
Hoping
those
Pepper's
peach
great.
peppers are like when you have them, you have a lot of them and you kind of get tired of them.
Yep, that was pretty much where I was at when we made that hot sauce.
Yeah. And then now we don't have any. Now it's probably like, oh, this is really good. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So hopefully I can put them on there this week. Because I've been waiting on that one. Yeah, we sold some chicken this week. We have chicken on the website now, so we did that and we sold some chicken this week.
Nice.
And man, people are, I mean, there's some good people out there, right? Like having a YouTube channel really makes you aware of that. I think like 99% of everybody is good people. And over like last year when we started selling chicken and this year, we had maybe not a whole lot of people, but a few people would contact me like, "Hey, we want to support you, but we don't ship." So we don't ship the chicken. So just can we just buy some chicken from you and can you donate it to a family or some kind of food pantry or something?
Well, that's kind of cool.
And I was like, I never thought of that, but after getting a couple emails like that, I was like, oh, that's a pretty neat idea. I should probably. So we put something on the website where if people want to buy chicken, you know, it's like a donation thing that they could, and we will donate it to a local food pantry. There's one that we volunteered at not too far from here that I've talked to them before about donating chicken, and they're like, yeah, yeah, we'll, they'll take it. So uh, I put that on the as soon as I put it on the website, like the next day, somebody bought like six whole chickens.
Wow.
Nice.
And they're from, I believe they're from Texas. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty neat. I think it was a good idea for people to, I probably wouldn't have thought about that, but after getting the people asking, it got me thinking. So yeah, we have chicken on the website, and we're gonna have more chicken because we got 150 chickens that we need to butcher in about 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
we're gonna be, yeah, it's on.
How many days you think that's going to take you?
We're gonna try to do it in 3 days.
3 days.
50, 50, and 50.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So we'll see. Doesn't seem too bad. I'm just always surprised. I'm surprised that I still have 150. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was gonna lose some in the beginning with our outdoor brooder and stuff. I was like, man, we'll probably I think that every single time we get chickens, like, yeah, I'm probably gonna lose like half of them. Like I think that in my brain. And the part of me is like, I should order a little bit more because I'm probably gonna lose some. But then I never, that never happens. So I don't know. So so now I'm stuck with 150 chickens. So
Are you doing classes with those, or you guys just doing them?
we do have a workshop. Yeah, we do have a workshop, but the workshop is in 2 weeks, and so far we have nobody signed up.
Well, if you got
So
nobody coming over and you need help, let us know. We'll come get down.
call the Holler Crew. Yeah, maybe. And I know Lorraine's parents are coming, so they're gonna help out. Yeah, I know. I'm tempted just to not do the workshop or close it out because usually by now we would have sold out.
Yep.
So I don't know what that is. I don't know if we already taught everybody or it just, I don't know, just the season, just the year. I mean, who knows? But yeah, that might be it for the whole year. We might not do another chicken workshop again this year. I'm thinking maybe we need to take a break from it and then revisit that.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. What about you, Al? What's going on over
Speak,
there?
speaking of meat bird chicks, we lost half of ours, or maybe more than
Oh,
half of ours this year.
Really?
So yeah, that
When
took
did you get them?
we've had them for a couple. Oh, this must be the second week we've had them for. It was right off, so that they showed up. I could see tracking. They stayed in southern New Hampshire for like a whole day and never moved. I think that's what happened is they just sat in the post office for a day, an extra day compared to what we normally get. And then when we got them, it was like that night, the next day, they just were dropping like rocks. So
Two
we got
weeks?
no, they dropped like rocks like the first night and the next morning they were. I
Well,
think
how
we
old
were
are they now?
oh the ones that are survived are good.
2 weeks?
They're 2 weeks old right now.
Okay.
Yep.
So we got a batch 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
The previous batches that we were getting, we got them the next day, like less than 24 hours. This last batch, it was another day.
Ours were like 3 or 4 days in the mail.
Oh man.
Like it was a day longer than normal. And now I'm like, okay, that's the same thing that happened to our egg layers. Like the egg layers took an extra day than they normally do. And I'm like, that must be the same reason why we had issue with the egg layers. And they just can't stay that long in the box.
Did you hear about that thing that happened? I forget where it was, but there was like a truckload of chickens in
I
there
saw
that
it.
it was like abandoned or something.
Yeah. And they were trying to find people to adopt them or whatever.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. I didn't
geez.
read the article or nothing, but I saw something on social media. I'm like, is this even true?
I read a little bit of it. I think they were coming from Freedom Ranger Hatchery. So they were
It is.
Freedom Rangers.
They're out of Pennsylvania, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they couldn't take them back because of, what I don't know what it calls. There's
Bird
protocol that
flu or
yeah, they just can't take them back. They're not allowed to take them back. So they couldn't do anything about it. But yeah, I wasn't sure what happened with that. Um,
were these like full-grown chickens or chicks?
no, I think they were
Real
chicks.
chicks.
Oh, geez.
They were meat
There's
birds
like
though.
thousands of them.
like there was like a from what I read, it was I could be getting this wrong, but I think it was like just a truck that was on the side of the road full of
Oh,
just
like
chicks.
down or something.
Like, but they didn't know why it was there. Like it's
Hmm,
like it was abandoned.
that's funny.
I was about to call you out and go get them.
Right? I wonder where they were. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You could have started your meat bird business for real this year.
I know.
Like, what am I doing?
Surprised I didn't get that phone call in the middle of the night.
Right. I got 1,000 chicks for you, Jason. Come pick
Yeah,
them up.
they're in Massachusetts. What?
Hmm. But yeah, so the meat birds are doing good now. How are yours? That took an extra day.
They're
Jason,
fine.
they're
I
fine.
lost one,
Okay.
and they all look good. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost like 30 something because we got 75.
Oh man, that's a
So
lot.
yeah, it was kind of like a massacre. And it was just, but
Hmm.
it was just they were just dropping. But I mean, the weather when we got them, the weather was nice. Like it wasn't like cold or nothing. So it's like, yep, they're just too long in shipping.
That's
So
too bad.
Hmm.
it was frustrating because I could see it. They were in southern New Hampshire at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, so I called the post office. I'm like, hey, you guys gonna have the shipment at noon or 1 o'clock whenever they get their second shipment? They're like, give us a call back at 1 or something like that. And if we'll let you know. So I call them up. They're like, nope, never showed up. It won't be till tomorrow morning. I was like, ugh. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but
I don't know why that is.
no, who knows? So we ended up picking up a used hay mower. So,
Mm.
yes.
What kind you get?
We got a Kuhn PZ 170. So what is it? Is it a it's not a, it's a drum mower.
Okay.
So
So
it's a
like a
five
sickle.
and a yeah, kind of like almost like a sickle. Instead of a sickle, it goes around in a circle.
Okay, I've seen those.
It's kind of like a brush hog with two drums, and then it one spin one way and one spins the other way, so it pushes it out in a windrow. So it does get a you do have like a windrow that you got to rake out. It doesn't just lay it flat like some of them. The guy I bought the hay wagon kit from had it, and I looked at it back when I picked up the hay wagon. He had the mower, he had a John Deere square baler, he had a homemade accumulator, he had a hay rake and a tedder. And was there something else? I don't think there wasn't anything else, but I'm like, and he was gonna sell it to me all for a good deal. But I'm like, I don't have I would love to get into square bales, but they're so much more time consuming. I'm like, this year we're not gonna have the time to do square bales. Um, and he didn't want to break it up, the package. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want the mower. It's only most 5.5 feet wide. So then when we bought the round baler off the guy, he was just going through and we were talking about mowers and stuff. He's like, oh, I saw this one online and it was the same mower that guy had. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, the only thing about that, they only mow 5.5 feet. He's like, but they mow super fast. He's like, you can mow 6 miles per hour plus. He's like, say you get like an old hay bine. He's like, you're gonna go like 2 miles an hour. You might mow 8 or 10 feet swath at a time. He's like, but you're going so much slower. He's like, they're fairly inexpensive. He's like, and they're really simple to work on. So I'm like, all right. So I ended up going back to the guy I got the hay wagon kit from, and I bought his off of him because it's a 2019. He bought it used from I guess somebody bought it, used it once or twice, and they didn't like it. So he bought it. He's been using it ever since. I think he mows like 20 acres a year, so it doesn't have much use on it. So I was like, all right, at least we know we're getting something for a good deal, and it's a good mower and it's simple to work on. So, I'm like, this is what we'll start with, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I want to go bigger next year, but
You're
we'll
gonna
find
learn on
out.
that.
We'll learn on this.
Yeah.
And I think too, like where we're going to be hanging isn't like flat; it's hilly. Like a lot of places around here are hilly, so it's like if you have too wide of a mower, if you don't have a flat field, one side might be like digging in or cutting in, or you're not going to be cutting level. So it's like the wider you go, the more you can mow at once. But then sometimes it's also too much of a hindrance because if you don't have a nice flat ground, it can bite you in the butt on the other end too. So
You should just use a scythe.
right, I'd be there all year. But you guys make me feel better. Like nobody's been mowing hay up here, and to hear that you guys aren't mowing hay down there, I mean, it stinks for everybody. I'm like, oh, at least we're not the only ones who can't mow hay.
It's just wet all around,
Yeah, we
I
get
guess.
if we're lucky, we get 3 days of no rain, and then we get like 1 or 2 days of like downpour. So it's like the ground hasn't even had any chance to dry out. So it's like if you even if you did cut hay, you're putting it on wet ground, and then it's not hot out to dry it fast. So hopefully soon we'll be able to. We're gonna be hopefully getting the rest of the equipment soon, and then hopefully the weather will be nice and we can get it done.
Might just have a short window to do it,
I think
right?
so. Yep. So. But then I kind of been going in like I don't know if I told you guys, but just going down like the rabbit hole of hanging. The guy that looked at all his equipment, he made a homemade accumulator. So that accumulator goes on the front of your tractor, and then you go around and you pick up like each individual square hay bale, and like you accumulate them all at once. I think his holds 8, so it's like 4 and 4. And then um they make, which I didn't realize, I just watching different videos. I've seen these things. They like they're at an angle and they go behind a square hay baler. Well, what those do is the square hay bale will kick it up and it'll go down, it'll accumulate them, and then it'll drop out like 8 bales at once. And then you can go around with your tractor accumulator and just pick up 8 of them at one time and start stacking them. So I'm like, if we're gonna get into square bales, I think that's how we'll end up doing it. Just because I don't want to throw hay bales all day long and have to unload square hay bales off the wagon at night and
You
getting
bought
old.
you bought it,
I haven't. But I'm
or
like, this is I'm
you gonna
going
make
to
one?
at some point. I'll probably buy one when we do
Oh,
square bales. I'll end up purchasing one somehow or another or making one.
that's gonna keep you young, Al.
Give me a bad back,
It keep me young or kill me.
right? One or the other. Kind of like firewood, like it'll warm you twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
At least the firewood you get to do it in cool weather.
Yeah,
The hay you're doing it in like,
you don't need to stay warm.
you know, but it's amazing how much stuff you can end up learning about just by going down the rabbit holes and watching YouTube videos and
I know. If it wasn't for YouTube, I was like, geez,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like everybody's in the world actually. I mean, learns stuff so fast.
yeah. And then you
Like
can
any,
share like the progress of stuff.
Mhm.
So like we've been trying to go back and like research different like history stuff like in our surrounding area and like you can't find photos. You can't like there's like no documentation on all like the stuff from that early 1900s or late 1800s. But it's like I mean I totally get it, but it's like
Yeah,
nowadays it's like you can just Google search something, you get images and stuff, and it's like man, like how do like you're losing. There's so much history that's lost because it's not documented
yeah,
anywhere. It seems like
right. And eventually, the like 1990s, like 90s, is gonna be like that's
right.
the old.
That's cool.
Not the 1900s, the
Right.
1990s.
The 1990s when we were in school.
Yeah. But because like in the 1900s there was like really nothing, no documentation, right?
Right,
So it's almost gonna get forgotten about.
right. But now at least we have, it'll be, when we're older, at least we can look back and see like videos or more photos and stuff of
Yeah.
things of the past. But yeah, if there wasn't YouTube or, I mean, there'd be so much stuff lost, especially like all the homesteading stuff. At least we might not always know what we're doing 100%, but we can show what we're doing,
Yeah.
whether it's right or wrong.
That's true.
People can learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Whether it's right or wrong, doesn't matter.
Right. So we're like, okay, it's time to start mowing the sides of the roads and cleaning up everything here. So I fueled up the tractor, went to go get on hooked up to my flail mower, and the tractor died.
Oh
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
man.
Water, it ended up being water in the fuel. I've never gotten that much water in my fuel before. So it took me a while to bleed it, get it out of the filters, then the filters would fill right back up with water. It took me half the day to get the tractor running with all the water out because I just filled up the fuel tank. There's no easy way to drain the fuel tank without like losing all of it. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I just kind of like keep draining the filters little by little. And then I went and I checked. So I have a V4 plastic 55-gallon storage tank that was just about empty. Well, I pumped it out. I got 3 gallons of water out of it.
Whoa.
So I don't know if a seal on that is bad and was letting water in it, or if the last time I went and fueled it up, if the fuel station I went to had water in their tank.
Mhm.
So,
That's unacceptable, man.
yeah. So the place we've been getting it from sells off-road fuel, and it's just a small like country mom and pop's gas station that, I mean, the fuel could be sitting in there for months, I bet you. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting fuel from there again because I mean, I'm not saying it was them, but I'm like, I don't want to risk it because I just spent half my day.
How do you know it was water?
So water and fuels, it'll diesel fuel separates. So
Hmm.
in my filters, I can see it in the bowls. You'll see the water, and then you'll see the diesel fuel on top. And then
Okay.
when I go over to the tank, I have a battery operated pump. So I just pumped that. I put my pump in the tank, and then I was pumping it into a 5 gallon bucket, and it was just all water coming out at the very end. Yeah.
So you just toss that whole thing? What
What
do
do
you
you mean?
do after you pump it all out?
But it's just water, so I'm just gonna let it evaporate.
Oh,
We'll have
okay.
my 5 gallon bucket, just let it evaporate out.
Oh.
Yep.
Hmm.
I was like, that was not any fun. I'm like, but I mean, out of all the years we've had tractors, I've never dealt with that. So I'm like, I'm glad I've never had to deal with that before. I'm glad it happened before we went haying because that would have been even more miserable if I was driving down the road to the hay field or if we were in the hay
Hmm.
field starting getting ready to mow hay
Mm,
and we had like a window of making good hay and then I was like, you spent half your day getting the water
Yeah.
out of the field,
I mean, you don't have a cover. Do you have it under cover, like the
the fuel
tractors?
tank, the track. No,
Mm.
no,
that's so frustrating.
yep,
I feel you there. The sudden, what the heck? Why did this die? And
yep,
then you got to play mechanic the rest of the day. At
yep,
least it was something easy. At least it
right,
wasn't a mud dauber clogging up a line.
right. It was the TYM was pretty easy to drain the fuel system out of. It's a I don't know about your tractor, but ours isn't an electronic fuel pump. It's like an old style mechanical one. So once we got all the water out of the fuel lines, I had to crack the fuel lines and just keep cranking the tractor over and the battery ended up I had to get the battery charger out,
Yep.
put the
Yep.
battery
That's how mine
charger on
was.
and just hand crank everything. So it took a while to bleed all the lines and then it was once I got it running, I drive the tractor around and then you'd stop, and then yep, your fuel bowl would be halfway filled up with water, so you got to empty the fuel bowl back out and drive it for a little while and get more water in it, and so
It
then
was so frustrating.
yep. So then the next day, I got to back onto the flail mower. I get the flail mower hooked up, and I'm like, ah. So there was a bunch of cracked areas in the metal and in the frame. So last time I used it, I must have broke stuff, and I never realized it. So I spent the next day welding and patching and making it stronger. I'm like,
Hey,
just can't win.
hey,
Uh,
like you got to be Mr. Fix It on the farm.
yep. So I mean, we mow some rough stuff with it. So we bought this flail mower. It's Bestco or something like that. I think we paid 3,000 for it. Um, but we were pricing out like the nicer Italian ones at first, and they were like 20 grand. I'm like, for a 5 foot flail mower, you want 20
20
grand?
grand.
I
That's
can
pricey.
I can go buy a knockoff Chinese one for 3 grand. I'm like, I can buy how many replacement ones? And I'm like, where we have raw land, like so we're trying to take back some sides of the roads that were grown up with trees and stuff. So I'm like, I'm not going to be gentle to it. Like it's going to get used and not used and
Mm.
abused, but used for what it's meant to be used for because it's meant to cut down like 3 to 6 inch pieces of wood, the flail mowers. So I'm like, I'm not going to buy a $10,000 piece of equipment to do that too. But so I feel good about that. I know I'm going to get in the comments because the video will be out by the time the podcast is. But you wreck your equipment, but it's like, no, that's what we buy it for. Like we want to reclaim the land, and if it's either like how else are we going to do it? So
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I paid for the whole speedometer. I'm going to use the whole speedometer
right,
pretty much.
right.
Not
Not just
really.
going to use it year 0 to 50. We got to go all the way up to 120, whatever it goes to.
I can't drive 55. Not really. I drive like a grandpa, so. But my other
Yeah,
equipment, man, I bent my bucket on my tractor, like trying to pry out a stump. Like I'm hard on stuff.
yep. I've done that. Get a cutting bar for it. I don't know if you have one or not.
It's a little late now. I mean, I could probably straighten it enough to get one of the tooth bars,
Yep.
but yeah, doing stupid stuff. I should have went and got the grapple, that kind of stuff. But honestly, like I'm gonna use this equipment until I can't use it anymore.
Right. That's what you bought it for, is to
Yep.
work it. Like
Save my
that's
back.
right, exactly.
Yep.
Like I paid the money for it to save my back. Like I want to get work done with it. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yep. That's how I feel.
You know, you got to do some work, you got to patch it up. Like you got to do work and you got to patch it up. But then we finally got to use the mower once it was patched up, and I will say it's held up. I didn't break anything that I re-welded. So I I'm gonna say I just have the Harbor Freight welder, the orange one. Is it the
The
orange?
Vulcan.
The Vulcan. That thing, I
Oh,
just use it. I just use it on 110. I don't even have it plugged into 220. I have 220 in my shop, but I've never used the 220. I've always used 110 because we used to run on a generator, and now I've just always what I've used it on. And that thing will heat up and melt some metal, like, and it welds nicely.
Uh, so like Harbor Freight has this reputation, and those days are gone. Like some of the stuff you can get from Harbor Freight, you can still get junk from
Yep.
Harbor Freight, but generally most of the stuff they have is really decent quality. Like
Yep.
you'd be hard pressed outside of a welding shop to find a welder that welds as good as, either the orange or the green one from Harbor Freight. Like I bought that machine, the orange one that does everything, MIG, TIG, stick, all that. I am every time I use it, I am extremely impressed. It's like, what the heck? It runs like a real machine. Like
Yep.
it's amazing. And you want to see it melt some metal, plug that sucker into 220 and turn it up. Like you can run a bead the size of a quarter.
I can't imagine because on 110, like at first I'm like, oh, this thing's junk. I'm like, oh no, this is me. It takes me a minute. Like I don't weld all the time. So I'm like, it takes me a minute. But then I'm like, I come into it, I should say. And I'm like, I'm welding like 1/8 inch thick steel, a little bit thick, like 3/16 steel. And it's like, it just melts it. I'm like, and it, like, I'll be welding from like thick metal to thin metal. And you can easily weld with that thing from thick to thin. It doesn't burn through the thin metal. And it still will melt the thick metal. I'm just like, okay, I'm impressed with it. And I use the flux core.
See, I don't know. I hate flux core. Uh, I have had so many times where I'm like, I'm in the middle of a welding project and I run out of wire. So I pull out the old trusty, or not wire, I run out of gas. So
Mhm.
I pull out the old trusty roll of flux core. I throw that puppy in there and I make it, it takes a minute to switch all that out. And then you get rolling again and you weld for like 2 minutes. And then all of a sudden, wire's not coming out. And then the little flux core wire split inside of your lead, and now you're pulling out all this broken wire. Oh man, like
I've
it has
never had
happened.
that issue.
Oh, it has happened to me so many
Huh.
times. Like I've even bought expensive flux core wire, and it still happens. You even change the little rollers.
Yep.
There's special rollers for the flux core. Doesn't matter. Happens almost every time I do it, to the point where it's just like I'll just plan for buying extra gas, whether I need it or not, just so I don't have to try to use flux core. I
Yep.
don't know.
I just
Maybe you're luckier than I am.
Yeah, I've just used the Harbor Freight stuff. I've never had an issue. I don't because I'm like, I don't want to go get gas. Like it's a pain in the butt around here. Then I gotta buy a tank or I gotta rent a tank. And I'm just like, I'm gonna try the flux core. And to me, it kind of welds just like a stick welder almost with
Yep.
the like the messiness of a stick welder with the flux core kind of thing. So I'm just like, it works. So, but I'm glad they have that because I don't want to deal with the tanks. It's it's not convenient to get them filled nowadays.
Not really. I was bemoaning the fact the last time I went and got my little, the size CO2 that you would get if you were like, you know, getting a keg or something. It's
Hmm.
like I don't know. It's like 2 feet tall. Little.
Yep.
They always call them like a pony keg CO2. That's what size I've always gotten because they were cheap. When I first started welding, the first tank I bought, it was $60 for the tank to buy it, and
Hmm.
it cost you like $11 to fill it. That same tank now, I I brought mine with me because I owned it, and our welding store was like, "Yeah, we'll fill it." It costs $60 to fill it now. And it's just like, man, like I
Wow.
realized like 20 years ago till now, like That's the price of things, but it's just CO2, and now it's $60 for a little tank. It's
I don't
crazy.
I don't have a set of torches just because I don't want to deal with getting the gas and the expense of the tanks and everything. So I just use map gas. And I'm like, someday I need to get a nice real set of torches. I'm like, but it's just such a pain and expense.
I don't know. I got torches, and it is kind of a pain, but at the same time, if you really need to burn the heck out of something,
Oh yeah,
it's nice to have the power.
it is. We got into when I had the mechanic garage, we got into electric induction heat for heating up bolts and stuff like that.
Oh,
That worked pretty slick.
that's pretty slick. Uh, it's hard to be stuck if you're liquid.
Yep. And then you can use that around gas tanks and torches. Yeah, not so
Yep.
much.
Yep.
That's pretty much been my week is fixing stuff and buying stuff
Hay
and
stuff.
raining hay stuff. Now we need some like nice weather. We need some summer weather. We still been like it feels like fall right now. It's just been dreary and cold and cloudy. It's like we need some nice spring weather.
That's
It's
crazy.
coming. It's coming now. It'll get miserable for us, then a couple weeks later, you'll be miserable too.
I'll be out there making hay. I will say I drove the 754 tractor to the future hay sites and it was 21.6 miles per hour and I had to go like 14 miles down the road. So it took a little bit of time.
That's a long drive.
It was, but it's
Wow.
too wide to go on like an equipment trailer. And that's what I have. So, and everybody I know they have equipment trailers. So it's like the wheelbase is like 6 inches too wide. So I'm like, well, I guess we're just gonna drive it down the road.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, fun and slow. But I will say I wouldn't want to go any faster because it doesn't ride like a car.
Yeah. Did you have to hit stoplights?
Nope.
Oh,
We
okay.
I went on a 50-mile-per-hour road for a good ways, but we didn't. I stayed on the shoulder, but I didn't. Luckily, I didn't have too many cars. I think I was passed like 12 times, so
Yeah.
it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
cool. All right. We'll end it right there. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching the YouTubes. And we appreciate all the comments and the feedback they give us. And hopefully everyone has an awesome week. And we'll see you guys next week.
Have a good week.
Later, everybody.